This is the Lockpicker 1969 and welcome to my channel. Today I was going to go over just a little bit about shims. Well, I know most of you, if you've ever gutted a lock, you know what a shim is. But what I want to go over today is talk a little bit about just first what shims are made of essentially, and what shims happen to be made of is just feeler gauge. And essentially you can purchase it online, and most people do, in a couple of different thicknesses. This is shim stock here, which is essentially 0.0015 inches or 15 thousandths, anyways, of thickness. Then you can also purchase them in the ultra thin or extra thin, which is essentially 0.0005, and those are the two typical shims that are available for purchase out there. I'm sure somebody out there sells some other different varieties, but the purpose of my video today was to point out a couple of reasons why you might want to think about having your own feeler gauge stock that you can create your own shims with. If it's not for you, that's fine too. Basically, a case where you might want to have a thicker shim than what a regular shim will provide. Some locks have really loose tolerances, meaning the core kind of fits loosely in the body of the lock or the bible. And for example, when you're trying to put your follower through, it's very loose in there, which makes it a little bit more difficult, even with a standard shim, to get it on through there without some difficulty. In cases like that, you can actually go with a thicker type of shim. They also come in different thicknesses, and you can purchase them, and I'll go over that in a moment. But these obviously at a much thicker bigger or thicker than your standard shim. These are a bit less, flexible, and they will give you a little bit more support over these thinner shims here. So that being said, a case where you might want to go with most of these shims that are sold are this standard length, but there are cases where you might want to have a shim that's longer, for example. So in the case of, this is a Yale KM Superior, for example, and this, as many people do, they cut these in half. And as you can see, a standard shim might work just fine for this cylinder here, but when you get over to this longer cylinder, it doesn't give you a whole lot of gimme room here to work with. So what I'm going to show you essentially now is that you can get your own feeler gauge and then basically just be able to cut to perhaps the length that you want. So let me see if I can find a longer one here. These are all pretty standard size. Let me pick a longer. Let me show you what I'm talking about. There we go. That's a bit longer one. So when in this particular case, this has been cut a little bit longer. You can make it at whatever thickness you want, but as you can see, I have a lot more give in this to be able to put my follower in and not worry about it shifting, which the shim tends to do when you're pushing the follower in, and it may shift a little bit more than you want it to, and you wind up basically dumping the entire lock, and it happens. So let me put that aside, put these away. So essentially what I do is I keep just some shims in, I just use plastic tubes in a rack that I keep all my shims in, so I can grab what I want when I want. So I happen to use this product, or have ordered this product in the past. You can, of course, you can do what you like. This is a product called Starrett, and essentially I purchased it on Amazon, It comes in a spool. It tells you the actual thickness, which is a good. This is, for example, a good replacement for standard stock shims. But it comes in a spool to where you can essentially. Let me show you the label on there and the name. I can simply roll this back, pull out the length of however long I want to make a shim. This cuts very easily just with a plain old pair of scissors. I can make this as wide, or I can leave it wide, or I can literally cut these in half, and I'll have essentially the same width as a standard shim. You can get basically 2 out of 1 strip. So just for comparison purposes. But they have this in different thicknesses. So there's 0.0015. This is in 0.002, like this here. And then you can also get it in, I have it in 0.025. 0.025. So essentially I can create whatever length of shim I want, whatever thickness or width I want for whatever it is I'm doing. There are some more complicated locks where you wind up needing more than one shim when you gut it, so just bear that in mind. You can pretty much custom do whatever it is you need to shim wise with these. Hopefully that was helpful to somebody in watching this video. If you have any comments, suggestions, or questions, by all means feel free to comment. I'm happy to hear additional ideas, and I'm sure everybody else that is watching this video is interested in additional ideas as well. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, click like on the video, and do turn on notifications. That way you become aware of new content, new giveaways, and giveaway announcements. Thank you for watching.